Let's be real, getting food delivered has never been easier. Just tap a screen, scroll a bit, wait half an hour, and boom, a palmy or bubble tea shows up at your door like magic. It feels normal now, but a few years ago, that level of convenience was unheard of, especially in Australia. And behind it all, one name completely reshaped the way Aussie restaurants operate: Uber Eats. But here's where things took a sharp turn. While Uber Eats brought convenience to millions of customers, it quietly reshaped the entire food industry from the inside out. Restaurant chains found themselves in a new game with new rules. Some adapted and grew stronger, while others were left scrambling. What seemed like a golden opportunity quickly revealed its darker side, one that demanded more than many were prepared to give. Let's rewind to 2016, when Uber Eats officially landed in Australia. It launched in Melbourne, riding high off the success of the Uber rideshare app and quickly expanded across the country. At the time, food delivery in Australia was limited mostly to pizza chains, a few local spots, and the occasional Thai place with its own drivers. So when Uber Eats promised to connect restaurants with a huge pool of drivers and customers with just a few taps, it felt like the future. For big chains, it was a no-brainer. They had systems in place, reliable prep times, and menu items built for speed. Integrating with the delivery app just meant more customers, more sales, and fewer barriers to growth. Instead of spending big on new locations, these chains could suddenly expand their reach digitally. Why invest in building a storefront in every suburb when you could light up a delivery zone with the tap of a button? For customers, it was an instant win. No more phone calls and waiting long lines. Whether you were at work, home, or stuck in traffic, a hot meal was always just a few taps away. And when COVID hit, Uber Eats immediately became an essential. With lockdowns in full swing and dine-in options off the table, delivery became the lifeline that kept many restaurants afloat. In some areas, demand tripled practically overnight. But as orders poured in, something else started becoming clear. This convenience came with a cost, and that cost is not a small one. The first red flag was commission fees. Uber Eats charges restaurants a commission that can reach up to 30 to 35% of every order. For a massive chain with deep pockets, that's manageable. They can negotiate better rates, tweak pricing, and even absorb some of the hit. But smaller operators felt the pressure immediately. A $20 meal might only bring back $13 after fees, and that's before you even start counting costs for ingredients, rent, staff wages, or electricity. And walking away wasn't really an option. Once Uber Eats became the go-to delivery app in Australia, not being on the platform meant being invisible. If customers open the app and don't see your name, they're not going to search for your website and try to call your number. When you're out of sight, you're practically out of mind. Restaurants soon realized that they were giving up something even more important: control. Control over how their food, their service, and their brand were being delivered. When you hand over delivery to a third party, you lose control over how your product gets to your customer. If the food shows up cold, poorly packaged, or late, it's the restaurant that takes the hit, even when the issue happens after the meal leaves the kitchen. This could lead to bad reviews piling up, ratings slipping, and before you know it, your spot in the app's rankings quietly drop. So, if you're a business trying to build loyalty or reconnect with that customer directly, well, good luck, because you're stuck inside someone else's system. To make matters worse, many restaurants found themselves having to increase their prices on the app just to make the margins work. That $15 in-store burger might be $19 on Uber Eats, which changes the perception of value. And because Uber Eats doesn't always make that price difference obvious, restaurants end up taking the heat for what looks like inflated pricing. Now, to be fair, Uber Eats has tried to evolve. The platform introduced options for restaurants to use their own drivers, giving them a bit more control while still being discoverable on the app. They've also rolled out promotional tools such as discounts, featured listings, and boosted visibility. But those advantages didn't scale equally. Large franchises could negotiate lower commission rates, build custom packaging for delivery, and design streamlined kitchen operations to handle high volumes. Many even opened ghost kitchens, which are facilities that exist solely for preparing food for delivery with no dine-in option at all. This allowed them to experiment with new menu items, target specific suburbs, and optimize every inch of production based on delivery data. Independent restaurants, meanwhile, often had to play catch-up. Without the same resources, they struggled with packaging that didn't travel well, staffing that couldn't keep up with order surges, and fees that left them operating on razor-thin margins. Some tried switching to other platforms like Menulog or DoorDash, while others poured energy into launching their own delivery systems. But none of those options could match the sheer market share and reach that Uber Eats had built. Then there's the human side of the business, the people doing the deliveries. Uber Eats popularized the gig economy model in Australia. Riders and drivers operate as independent contractors, not employees. They set their own hours, use their own bikes or cars, and get paid per delivery. In theory, it offers flexibility, but in practice, it raised serious questions. Riders reported long hours, unpredictable pay, and minimal protections. The platform could suspend accounts without warning, and multiple reports flagged safety concerns, including several fatal accidents involving delivery riders. So, while Uber Eats created thousands of jobs, it also sparked a wider debate about the true cost of convenience and who ends up shouldering the burden. This shift redefined how restaurants are run behind the scenes. Kitchens were redesigned to handle a constant flow of delivery orders, staff schedules were reshaped to match peak delivery hours, and menus were overhauled to focus on items that traveled well. The delivery-first mindset did introduce a new level of efficiency, but it also came at a cost. Food became more transactional, where it's less about the atmosphere or the experience, and more about speed, volume, and convenience. Local cafes weren't just competing with the shop down the street anymore. They were up against national chains engineered by data and powered by app-driven algorithms. Yet, despite the complaints, the controversies, and the commission fees, Uber Eats hasn't slowed down. The system keeps moving because it delivers what people want. Customers enjoy the ease of ordering, big chains benefit from a steady stream of sales, and Uber continues to grow its reach across cities and suburbs with every order placed. So, what does all this mean for the future of food in Australia? On one hand, platforms like Uber Eats have made food more accessible, more connected, and more dynamic than ever. They've opened doors for growth, kept restaurants alive during crises, and empowered even small operators to reach bigger audiences. But on the other hand, they've created an ecosystem where scale wins, where the little guys often can't compete, and where control over the dining experience is increasingly outsourced to a tech platform. Uber Eats didn't just bring us food faster, but it also changed how we think about what a restaurant is. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.